Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times with Scar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of Hermits and Crafting. And I have something very special for you today. That is a shaders tour of Hermitcraft. A look at Hermitcraft as you have never seen it before. So let's start where it all began. Every adventure starts with a beginning, and our beginning here in season 7 started inside of a giant snail. That is right, Larry the snail here was our starter base for this season, and this was painstakingly designed with dirt to try to get the rounded shell. All well, Graham was in the bushes diverting zombies from a spawner into me, which was absolutely hilarious. But I had so much fun putting this together, and I think this might be my favorite starting base that I've ever put together. And of course, Larry leaves a slime trail wherever he goes, and I think somewhere back there is also where we died by a panda. Embarrassingly, it's true. They're vicious and evil, but that'll be a discussion for another time. But this is the crafting and storage area. It is a giant pigsty as always, because every one of these boxes is ready to go for some episode, and I just never clean it up. And when I really don't need those resources for quite some time, I throw them down here, and well, that's how you create chest monsters after all. And this is an absolute mess. Could somebody please volunteer to save me and organize my boxes? That would be very much appreciated. But things are fairly neat and orderly up here in the bedroom. We have our animals that we decapitated at the early part of the season adorning our walls above. And of course, our very first diamond of season 7 above the bed, which is cursed. That is right. This is a cursed bed. I don't know how this happened, but it has happened. You cannot sleep in this bed. Day or night, you can't set your spawn point, nothing. This is a cursed bed. Now, I could probably break it and reset it, but that is breaking magic, and I feel like that's against the rules in a magical village after all. So forever that bed will be occupied, apparently. Our first major build here in season 7 was our magical village. Now, some people have been asking what the backstory of the village are. Maybe you're brand new to the channel, things along those lines. So the backstory of this is that we came right in on the back of Larry here into the village, where we found the giant magical crystals. We started chipping away at those, selling them to the other hermits, and eventually attracted other magical creatures to the village that were misfits of the world, and we gave them a home and a community. But in the end, in a nutshell, this entire thing is basically just a giant Minecraft trading hall. But it is very efficient at that. So we not only created an efficient trading hall, but also a aesthetically pleasing and a build with a backstory. Because a build with a backstory, or a build without a backstory, that is in my opinion kind of a lifeless build. So I feel like we really created something that has a story, a purpose, and a function, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, just the feel of this place always makes me super happy. And it was fun because it was basically all improv the way I designed this. A lot of my builds are very meticulously detailed beforehand, but this one was just like, whatever works, works. And in here, of course, we have all of our different Minecraft villagers with all of their unique magical heads on. I mean, we got parrots up here, we got Nemo, and I think there's a guy that looks like a stack of ham. Yep, there's Ham Guy. See, you can never get that out of your head now. That head looks like a ham. I don't even know what creature that even came from, but it's hilarious. And yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about this village that always just puts a smile on my face. And I hope it did to you when we built it and every other time we walk on through. Before we move on, there is a small design element that I want to show you about this village that I think is rather unique. So the philosophy when starting this out was I wanted to create something very small and intimate, but highly detailed, and also something that gives the feeling of a much larger space than there really is. And that is kind of taking the design philosophy of a theme park to the next level here in Minecraft. So we have our main walkway, which will get us to all the different areas where we can do our trading and access the materials to do the trading for emeralds. But we have all these other design elements that don't really serve any purpose other than design aesthetic, like our trees, our rope swing bridges, our giant bumblebee in the background there, our windmill just behind the bumblebee. All of these different things are here to create scale and depth to the build. So think about it almost as a 2D animated film with a multi-plane camera, and how we want to elongate or stretch out the base past the boundaries where we actually roam and work in, but there's all these little extra areas that just create an enormous amount of depth and space and make this area feel a whole lot bigger than it really is. I hope I was successful in creating the stories, the depth to the builds. All these things that I spoke about are things that I at least had in my mind when going about building the village, and hopefully it came out to your guys' liking. I really hope so. And hopefully some of these tips are good things for you to think about when you're building, you know, thinking about depth and all these things that might not be functional, but really do make a big difference in the end. And I had to show you this place at night because it reminds me of Disneyland, with all the twinkling lights looking absolutely beautiful. Once we finished up with the magical village, we moved on to our new project here, ScarX. ScarX is our current project that we are undertaking, and its first build was the Big Dig. So the Big Dig was our attempt to reach the 1.16 nether part of our ginormous corporation, the ScarX Corp, and we built this. This is our, you think at first it's a Scarlock pit when you first look at it, but it is really our attempt to reach the 1.16 nether, and that looks really cool. Wow, I'm blown away. I've never seen it like this with the fog glowing in there. That looks absolutely fantastic. So let's take a look at this, because every build, as I said, has a backstory and also a functionality. The functionality with this build, it's a bit of a stretch, but bear with me on it. So we have our ginormous drill up here that is drilling into the core of the world. And then if we move just a little bit more over here, you can see this conveyor belt bringing out the materials. So as you can see at the start up here, just some standard stone, but the further we go down, the more it becomes netherite. We've got our netherrack, and the blackstone and the soul sands and different things like that being excavated out and then thrown on the conveyor belt and sent off to, I don't know where, I haven't built that part yet. But we also have our cart system. So these are our nether cart systems that bring supplies and resources back up out of the nether. And then over there's an additional elevator bringing some of our robots and our material. Now you'll notice the longer this hole has been opened, more of the nether creatures and material are starting to grow up the sides of the walls, and even some creature is starting to grow out of the center there. And yeah, that's kind of the fun of this build, is it is a constantly evolving story of the nether opening, because there are always consequences to anything you do, and the ScarX Corporation broke into the nether in search of materials and exploration, and well, there's going to be a consequence to that, and that's to come. There's more stuff to that. I just haven't built it yet. It'll be here, don't worry. But here in the parking lot of the ScarX Corporation, we have some of the vehicles ready to go into the nether. So we have some of our walkers that are protecting some of our scientists and exploratory teams down in the nether. And then we've got some dump trucks that are pulling resources out. We have our giant driller truck moving into position. We have our robots here, of course, that are directing them, as this whole corporation is basically two entities, me and Jelly. That's right, we run the whole corporation along with the robots. But this little road, of course, leads up into the elevator system, so all those vehicles can take that elevator where the TNT and those robots are being sent down. There's good old Bodhi over there in his biosuit, and this robot here is Lunchy. That's right, Lunchy here bringing his lunch boxes to all the other employees. And then up on the top here we have our wind turbines here generating power down into the battery bank, and of course we have our helipad here with an additional robot guiding that vehicle in. That robot there always makes me laugh. He's like freaking out, like, okay, just a little further, just a little further. He doesn't want to go over the edge, which is really funny. We have the other helicopter flying over the tower. The tower is still a work in the progress, and of course this area where our cart system will go will eventually deposit nether material into this area. So yeah, this is more work to be done in this area eventually. And where this pillar is, we're going to build a giant tower and a rocket platform, and a whole bunch of other amazing things are coming to the ScarX Corporation. So now you might be wondering, Scar, you mentioned that this build was functional. I don't see any functionality to it. But that's where you must believe in the ScarX Corporation and our ability to dig all the way down to the nether, where we can fly directly and avoid any of those silly nether portals. And we're here at Base Camp Bravo, and of course this is the digging operations base camp, where we have our conveyor belts, we have our cart systems, we have our ScarX corporate security here protecting the dig site from all of the horrible creatures that are here in the nether. We died countless times. It was horrible. But we have all the vehicles that we saw in the parking lot above ground, like the driller here drilling out some black stone and bath salt, our new favorite blocks here. And this was really fun. This was basically the first time that we have ever built here in the nether, and it was fun. I got to admit that. But it was also quite a pain. And we got our Big Bud the drill truck up on the ceiling here. And this is the Upsidedown, where Grian and B-Dubs and Etho, and we all built in this area with our upside down design. So there, of course, is the Gasbusters vehicle. Now that was my attempt to save us from the gas. So the Gasbusters here was a play on the Ghostbusters, just a fun little parody on it. And so the Gasbusters fire truck here blasts out of the headquarters. That is upside down, by the way. And I cannot wait for you guys to get the world download at some point and be able to explore these things and see them for your own eyes, because they're pretty cool to see with your own eyes, being that this is attached to the ceiling and all the little bits of detail and things along those lines. And something that is really fun is that the ghost here, wherever you stand, the eyes will follow you. Very similar to the effect in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, where you're in the queue, the bus eyes follow you when you're walking through the queue. Also, the ghast has a butt. Did you see that? Back up there. There is a hole in that ghast. Because there's a ghast also trying to like poke its way out of the bottom of the headquarters. But there we go. So that is the ScarX Corporation and the Gasbusters headquarters here in the nether. I don't plan on ever coming back here, but at least we had the convenience of not having to go through any stinky nether portals again, because the corporation has opened up a portal. And there's going to be consequences, as I said, about opening up a portal to the nether from the overworld. And yeah, I hope you guys have liked the ScarX build so far. I have so much more to come in this area. We have a lot of fun things still to build. This thing's only like 25% built, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So with that, the ScarX Corporation has a big, bright, beautiful future with some amazing new things, but let's head to the shopping district, where we became mayor and built a whole lot of mega structures. Our first build here in season 7, of course, was the Chest Monster shop. This was a build that I was really looking forward to at the beginning of the season, and even today, being a week 2 build, it still holds up as a decent build. And it was one of the first builds that actually brought in a little bit of landscaping to show the hermits that there was hope that eventually we will defeat the mycelium menace. Also, it has jelly inside, trapped in the chaos of a chest monster, and inside, of course, where the shulker boxes would be if we had any in stock, and of course the barrels and the chests, because of course we sell every form of the different organization that we have in Minecraft, even disorganization. I will come to your base and disorganize your boxes. That is a service we do provide. Next up, the little greenhouse of Scars, our landscaping shop. Also a little bit of a horror maze, if you will. It's like Universal's Horror Nights in here. We've got a ginormous plant monster growing from the center of the shop out of the greenhouse, busting out of the back, and then looking over with a little bit of drool coming off its tongue there. We have some Venus flytraps off to the sides, giant tulips, and inside just a whole lot of detail to discover. Of course, here's the stem for the plant monster. We have some cool hanging baskets of flowers up on the ceiling, and the area just basically ate a little too much bone meal and got a little overexcited. So here's the dirt, the grass, everything is out of stock. So that's one reason why I have no diamonds, because all my shops are profitable if they were actually in stock, that is. Next up, the town hall. Grian, B-Dubs, and myself put the town hall together over the course of about 6 hours. I believe it was almost like 6 in the morning when Grian finally went to bed. He was even getting late for B-Dubs, but it all came out absolutely fantastic. And after that, that's when B-Dubs convinced me to run for mayor, and ever since then, Hermitcraft has prospered. There's been little violence here in the shopping district. It's been a peaceful place, and of course, the Diamond Throne's sitting strong and powerful as it always has, with Jelly up in the top there. And B-Dubs did such an amazing job here. What is this? I don't know. Continuing on. This interior he did is just next level cool. And this is the interior that we did for ourselves for our mayorship office. We have the glorious Mumbo above our desk, and we have Jelly keeping an eye on the books of the town hall, making sure I don't spend too many diamonds. There's also a lot of fun things to discover in the town hall, like the chair from the Resistance HQ. It's like a little museum here in the town hall. And next up, Hep Tower, part of the turf war. Now this build was a pain to design and build. I had a lot of design ideas in my head, but none of them were working. And eventually one day, after a lot of frustration, I woke up and just said, I'm just gonna build something and not gonna think about it. Just gonna build. And I came up with this, and I was like, that's it, we're doing it. It's gonna be amazing. But inside the interior here, this is our meeting room for Hep. The mushrooms, as you can see here, growing in harmony with the grass, as Hep has always wanted. We have our chandelier that's actually a storm cloud, and I think everything came together. It was a really nice place for all of the Hep members to come together for our meetings, and it was always super fun. We also had like the final like meeting between the two different sides here, which was really cool, and just an absolute blast. And it's such a cool view of the shopping district from the Hep Tower Elytra launching pad area. But yeah, look at it up there looking super majestic. And you have the trees, they're almost like murals kind of drawn onto the sides, and then the snow and the ice at the top, just to give it a little bit more of that environmental feel. This, my friends, is my favorite build of season 7, the Hep Factory, formerly known as the Moopop Soda Factory. This thing, I had such a blast putting it together, creating the backstory of the whole mushroom soda. We got the little dock over there. We have the beautiful natural arch that connects the main island to the Moopop factory. Now, I don't know how to get in because I always lose my key, so I like to take the express route into the factory. So this, of course, is the, well, hello there. Why are you doing what you're doing? I have no idea who you are. You were an intruder. But anyway, the backstory of this, oh, I just love it. So up on this level here is where they chop up all the mushrooms and then send it up into the blast furnace over there, where eventually it's cooked down and then made into, ooh, why are you free? Why are you free? You stay right there and I'll stay right here. I'm just doing a little tour of the factory. We're all friends here. We all enjoy Moopop, right? All right, hashtag love Moopop. Okay, I think we're friends. Let's do this quick. So this ancient factory is all interiored out, right? So the mushrooms go into the furnace there, then it's piped down into these little furnaces, then it's sent into the bottling plant. And yeah, this was really, really fun to put together. Cub set this up with Volt. Tango set the mycelium incinerator all up over there. Everything came out so awesome in here. And along with some additional stuff over here that Tango built, and of course, Cub put together, all looking absolutely fantastic. Now it is the definitely not evil laser beam that penetrated the core of the world here to find the Resistance base. That's right, we built this massive death ray to find the Resistance HQ. And this is probably my second favorite build of the war. And anytime that I can work with glass, I am so up for it. And down here at the bottom where the laser beam finally hit the center of the earth, we've got all this little charred ground. We have a little bit of smoke coming up. And through this door here might be one of my biggest embarrassments of season 7, and that is my Minecraft rail. And when you get on the rail, Mumbo and B-Dubs discovered this, that you bang your head on every single lantern. It was definitely a design oversight, but it definitely made still for a funny moment with them. But look at how epic that looks with the glass shooting to the sky there. And yeah, as much as it might look evil, it's actually environmental friendly because the sun does power it. Next up, Turf War Finale, where we built Showdown. This was a crossbow game themed to paintball. There was tower defense. There was a capture the flag, and B-Dubs and Mumbo helped us so much on this. B-Dubs built this glorious grass side. We built the mushroom side, and Mumbo built out all the redstone down here, which is just fantastic. I can't say enough nice things about Mumbo and B-dubs, and just a big thank you for helping us. Like, this side's just fantastic. So over here where we built the red mushrooms and the brown ones, I think it came out pretty cool. I'm really partial to the brown ones. I think the interior cap might be my favorite aspect of it, with the raw blocks, and then we have the end rods kind of hanging down with the giant red mushrooms here also looking really nice. And yeah, this game was it was quite something. Almost did me in, but with those two guys helping me, we got it done in time, and I think the hermits enjoyed it. And I really love those brown mushrooms. Like, look at that interior in there, looking super fancy. We have these cool vines that grow around, and yeah, this was a good one, just a tiring one. And finally, we land here in our most recent build. That is Aqua Town, where we bought this land way back at the beginning of the season for 64 diamond blocks. And we have so far built 2 buildings. We have our Moop Hop Cafe build here, and of course, Threads by Scara in front of us. And this is our clothing department store. We're going to sell some clothing related things. We have our stained glass windows, which might be my favorite element of this build. And of course, the Moop Hop Cafe across the road here. This is where we are going to sell food related items, specifically Moop Hop and some other fun things. And yeah, this little city here is going to hopefully be something really, really special soon. Once we get it all built up, B-dubs is going to join us, maybe some other hermits, and I think that'll be really, really cool to see this area all come together. And it was so bright, and now it is so dark, which I think is very fitting in that we are now wrapping up this video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And what a wonderful way to sign out with our Christmas tree, a light there looking absolutely fantastic. But guys, thank you so much for the support throughout this entire year. This year has been very tough for us all, and you giving me the ability to create these videos was my outlet, and I hope the videos gave you an escape from this brutal year. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you very, very much, and I hope that you enjoy what we have planned for the next year. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the videos, and if you believe the video is deserving, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later, and don't subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.